Formally, the cougar belongs to small cats, but only because of the specific structure of the skull and vocal cords. The puma is often larger than leopards, and its strength and aggression even allows the puma to fight with the jaguar, the third largest cat on the planet. The cougar is cool, and there are few animals in the world that are able to fight back one-on-one. That's why there are about a dozen dogs attacking the cougar here. The mountain lion underestimated the danger. A cougar could easily defeat 3 or 4 representatives of this breed alone, but there are too many of them here. The cougar retreats. She realized late what a huge numerical advantage the enemy had. Hunting dogs drove the cougar to the very top of the cliff. A predatory cat fights off enemies, but cannot hide. If she shows her back, they'll catch up with her and attack her all together. If she tries to cope with her opponents, they will all attack her together. As a result, the cougar still grabs one of its enemies, and both of them fall epically off the edge of the cliff. Well, we must give the mountain lion its due. He did not give up and fought to the very end. He was even able to take one of his enemies with him. Of all the big cats, the leopard climbs trees better than the rest. The combination of great strength and agility allows him not only to hide from opponents in the crowns of tall trees, but also to drag prey there in order to look down on competitors without the risk of losing his lunch. Here the leopard wanted to pull off the same trick, but underestimated the hyena. Like dogs, their speed and agility to work in a team are amazing. They swooped on the leopard like a flock of hornets, from different directions with great speed, stunning the spotted predator. The leopard didn't have time enough to drag the prey up a tree. The dogs managed to intercept it at the very last moment. But just look at how many of them there are. Already being safe, the leopard looks back and realizes that, in fact, it is not a loss, but luck. Such a number of wild dogs could easily deal with him. The cat lost its prey, but it was lucky to survive on its own. Although a leopard is much stronger than one wild dog, a dozen opponents could have dealt with our hero in a minute. You need to be a really huge and strong animal to arouse healthy fears in lions and a desire to behave cautiously. The exception is the honey badger, which can pile up on lions, being the size of a moped. Both experienced lions and lionesses know this, so they avoid black and white scumbags. But the young ones do not yet know who they are dealing with. Well, young predators will remember this lesson for a long time. Despite their immature age, they have already entered into force enough to pose a danger to a zebra or a small antelope. And they are considered to be able to easily cope with a honey badger. But now this aggressive kid is going to show them their mistake. He literally ignores all their punches. The wildcats are in shock. It seems that the honey badger is not made of stone. The claws dig into it, and the victim's body flies away. But how does the honey badger get up again and again, as if he didn't feel any pain at all and didn't get any damage? Big cats do not know that the honey badger is incredibly tenacious, has a super high pain threshold, and its durable, almost impenetrable skin, covered with tough fur, is very weakly attached to the muscles, so it is extremely difficult to hook the claws of such an opponent and paralyze him. The honey badger's paws are short, but very powerful, because with them he tears up the layers of underground animals, digs huge holes, and unfolds termite mounds. The blows of the stocky animal are unexpectedly strong, but the main thing is the bites. The honey badger doesn't bite to kill. He bites the lion to torment him. A small but insidious predator knows sensitive places and strikes exactly there. It tries to dig its sharp and thin teeth into the muzzle, the nose, the neck, tear off the ears, wound the paws so that it hurts to stand on them. But the main thing is the overwhelming pressure. The honey badger moves like a small black tornado and generously distributes its blows in different directions. Now the lions will be afraid of this little predator, which they should probably stay away from. So the honey badger is the only small animal that can pile up on a lion? That's exactly what this young predator thought. He noticed a small and fearless animal that was prowling in search for food. For some reason, this beast was not afraid of the lion at all, so the huge predator already had to think at this stage, and why? But there is no black and white color, and there seems to be no frightening aggression either. An ordinary calm animal that was too focused on finding its food and did not notice the huge predator at all. So they can have a snack? No, and the lion was immediately convinced of this. This is one type of mongoose, and they are really cool guys. He was looking for some super poisonous cobra to bite off his head. If you're dealing with someone who hunts with dangerous enemies, this is a stupid idea to mess with them. Mongooses are usually quite peaceful, and unlike honey badgers, by the way, they're distant relatives, do not really attack first. But if you make them angry, then it won't seem enough to anyone. The lion is trying to deal with the snake hunter, but the lightning-fast reaction, which helps the mongoose dodge the snake throws, is no worse suited to avoid blows with a weighty lion's paw. When the lioness does hit the victim's head with the crushing blow of her paw, the mongoose simply gets up and goes on the frontal attack. He ignored this knockdown. Of course, like the honey badger, the mongoose is not immortal, and the lion can defeat it. Especially if there are a lot of predators. Inexperienced females or males take the matter seriously. But predators do not expect such desperate resistance from a small animal. In response, the mongoose uses its teeth. Maybe there is no lethal danger for the cat, but the opponent's jaws are very strong, and the teeth are small and terribly sharp. They stick into the lion's flesh like a set of needles and quickly show him that he had made a mistake with the choice of an opponent. They will have to remember that a small animal is not necessarily hopeless. Another reason not to mess with mongooses is that my enemy's enemy is my friend, is it not? Mongooses hunt those that lions cannot cope with, venomous snakes. Although cats do not specialize in fighting such a difficult opponent, they can still give him a pretty decent fight. Domestic cats often deal with snakes that have crawled onto their territory. Small wild cats give a decent fight to even more dangerous snakes. But large sizes play a cruel joke with lions. They are fast and agile, but too big. So it is not so difficult for venomous snakes to get into the lioness's paw and bite her with her fangs. What happened to this lioness? Who unfortunately got involved with the black mamba. The predatory cat missed only one blow, but it turned out to be more than enough for a powerful neurotoxin to hit its body and to lead to irreversible consequences. Convulsions and convulsions began. The lioness cannot calm them down, although she tries. She is in pain. She feels the symptoms of severe poisoning. Her relatives are watching her, but they cannot help her, unfortunately. The lioness already feels breathing problems, so she takes every breath with effort. But a couple more minutes, and the poison will completely turn off the muscles that stretch the lungs during inhalation. The lioness will suffocate. A male with large size and strength is in the same danger, and a similar sad fate awaits him if such a venomous snake gets to him. But their relatives are safe. The black mamba has long since crawled away after being bitten, and the surviving members of the pride will remember this snake and will never approach it. The cheetah's super speed is not the solution to any problem. The cat can still be trapped. Here the cheetah just came to drink. He is alert, he is ready to run away if any threat arises. But the problem is that the cheetah looks around, whereas it was necessary to look down at the water. There is a threat waiting for him. A huge crocodile swims up unnoticed in the murky water. His color and ability to move without causing unrest on the water allow him to get as close to the victim as possible. A lightning rush, and even the cheetah does not have time to dodge. From such a distance and in such a position, the cat had no chance. But maybe the cheetah will be able to break free? He fights desperately, grabs the crocodile's head with its paws. But in its powerful mouth, the spotted runner looks helpless. The difference in strength is much too great. The crocodile does not seem to notice the resistance and drags the victim to the bottom without any problems. Which case, where the big cats were given a tough rebuff, impressed you the most today? Reply in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to see even more epic animal stories. Although sea lions spend most of their lives in the water, they can get out on land. This last thought that it would be able to escape from killer whales that are not able to leave the water. Big mistake. Orcas are ready to risk themselves for the sake of such appetizing seals. They timed the moment to break ashore together with the wave, grab the pinniped, and return back as soon as possible. Now we will show other amazing cases from the life of marine predators. It seems as if killer whales know that they are being filmed and deliberately demonstrate their incredible strength. Here, a predator overtakes a sea lion, which it can deal with the help of its jaws. But instead, the killer whale throws the victim out of the water with a crushing blow of its tail. The sea lion flies to the height of a third-story building. The birds are shocked. They fly over the hunting ground in search of profit, but they did not expect that the underwater monster sent its victim to visit them. After such a monstrous blow, there are hardly many whole bones left in the body of a sea lion. But falling on the surface of the water from such a height is like falling on concrete. This completely finishes off the sea lion and turns it into a helpless victim. This means that it can only be picked up with the jaws of this orca. The brutal and at the same time impressive manner of hunting is incredibly effective. If the agile sea lion still has chances to dodge the grip of the killer whale's fangs, then the victim will not be able to survive such a blow. But the great strength is not the main weapon of killer whales. Their intelligence is much more important. These black and white underwater predators are close relatives of dolphins, famous for their memory and mental abilities. Killer whales are in no way inferior to their distant relatives. Excellent memory and communication skills are combined with the ability of these predators to plan complex hunting tactics. And killer whales look at dolphins like a burger. Yes, family ties do not prevent them from hunting smaller animals at all. Catching a dolphin is a difficult task. They can get away from most large enemies due to maneuverability. But this dolphin does not know who he's messing with. A tense confrontation, wouldn't you agree? Thanks to the efforts of these killer whales, they succeed in what most sharks do not. Some beaters chase prey from behind, others do not allow a group of fish to disperse over a large area. Finally, our hunter squeezes its jaws, and the dolphin is no longer able to get out. He will be dealt with the powerful blows of the tail, which the killer whales can also throw the dolphin out of the water with. Teeth will also be used. The killer whales use a similar tactic to restrain a whole school of fish. Without allowing them to scatter in different directions, each killer whale can snatch not one, but several fish at once in one throw. Another advantage of killer whales is courage. If a sea lion or seal is on land, on the shore, but close enough to the water's edge, this black and white predator can risk its life for a hearty lunch. Well, and for the sake of adventure, of course. It seems that killer whales just love thrills. How else can you explain the many episodes when they hunt these sea lions on the shore? A killer whale can jump ashore, catch a seal, and just go back. It looks epic, and the element of surprise helps to catch the seals by surprise, who do not have time to react and retreat far enough back. But if the predator makes even the slightest mistake and jumps out too far, it will get stuck. Sometimes the most desperate killer whales jump out so far that only a tidal wave can help them get back into the water. And this is completely unpredictable. In fact, the killer whale is playing roulette and betting his life. If it stays on land, Then, contrary to popular belief, its own weight will not suffocate her. This is only the problem of much larger whales. But the thermoregulation of killer whales is adapted to living in cold water. If the animal remains on land, then overheating in a few hours will be fatal for it. That's why during the rescue of killer whales, conservationists pour water on them. The animal breathes air, but it needs water to cool down while people drag it back into the water. To be honest, water is an unpredictable element. Now, this bird feels like a hunter, right? For whom the only concern is catching prey. Suddenly, a huge shark appears from the depths, as if out of nowhere, really, and catches up with the bird with one throw. The shark caught the albatross in less than a second, and the bird didn't have the chance to take off when the predator was so close. The shark is an incredibly successful marine predator. This species has existed for tens of millions of years, practically unchanged. And that's because perfection cannot be improved. Just look at the speed with which the shark overtakes its prey here. Thanks to its incredibly strong tail fin, this fish is able to overcome a huge distance in just a couple of movements. The strength of the shark can be judged by the fact that during the hunt, it is able to jump out of the water to such a height almost equal to the length of its own body. It's kind of hard to believe, but it allows sharks to hunt birds. This feathered one right here is shocked when a monster suddenly appears out of the water, and it catches it right on the fly. A shark's battering ram can stun anyone. But the main trump card of this predator is its jaws. There are about 300 triangular sharp teeth in a shark's mouth. How do they fit in there? It's simple, in several rows. At the same time, the jaws have great strength, so it is almost impossible to break out of a grip like this. Shark teeth also have jagged edges, so they act like miniature saws. And although there are few rivals for these fish, they prefer to hunt wounded animals more, chase injured ones, and weak individuals. Just imagine, some marine inhabitant survived a terrible danger, beat a predator in a fight, managed to break away, only for a shark to smell its blood and swim in for a second round. A great white shark can just bite an adult seal. And even smaller species are able to hunt most sea lions and seals in fish of the world ocean. Pretty scary, isn't it? Sharks, for all of their advantages, have one drawback. They're not very social. Dolphins are another matter. They have a well-developed signal exchange system, thanks to which dolphins coordinate their actions in real time. And they are unexpectedly cruel. It may come as a surprise to you, but dolphins often use violence against their own kind. They attack young ones, take away food, but they protect their family members desperately. So attacking a young dolphin is the stupidest idea a shark could come up with. It doesn't even understand who it's messing with, and now it's going to pay for its cruelty. The shark's jaws didn't even have time to touch the opponent when the anger of the family falls on the brainless fish, like the ninth wave on a wooden raft. The shark simply has no chance. The smart dolphins, if they lag behind the enemy in terms of physical strength, then it's only a little bit. They also are superior in maneuverability and speed. However, the main thing is that dolphins know the weaknesses of their enemy. They deliver powerful and painful blows to the gills, which for a shark is like a hammer blow to the throat. At least it stuns and causes terrible pain. And then the dolphins turn the opponent over. An interesting anatomical fact. If a shark is turned upside down, it will almost paralyze it, and it will not be able to return to its normal position on its own. It's not really clear how dolphins know about this. Maybe they catch young sharks and conduct experiments on them? We honestly wouldn't be surprised. But knowing this feature makes killer whales extremely dangerous against sharks. Just now, this fish thought that she was the lord and the storm of the seas. And now she is already prey for a pack of angry enemies who beat and paralyze her in a couple of minutes, and then eat her. Do not mess with dolphins if you are a solitary animal. And even more so, it is not worth messing with their young. The only marine predator that is higher up than dolphins in the food chain is killer whales. Interestingly enough, although both dolphins and killer whales show cruelty towards enemies, it is killer whales that are more loyal both to their own kind and to people. There are cases when wild dolphins attacked people to drown them. So meeting a dolphin in the wild is honestly like playing the lottery. If you get lucky, it'll help and even save you from the sharks. Not lucky, it will attack you. So beware of these animals in the water. But wild killer whales never do this. They swim up to people to study them, get to know them, and even swim with them and play together. But there's no aggression. Moreover, there are impressive cases when killer whales and huge whales have saved people from sharks, pushing aside predators, or attacking them to protect strangers. This just goes to show that not all heroes wear capes. And these giants often just swim up to communicate, keeping maximum accuracy. They slow down so as not to accidentally hit the boat, surfboard, or the person themselves. Would you ever like to meet such a powerful, ruthless, but loyal to man marine predator? Let us know in the comments. Or let us know if you already have a story about how you encountered killer whales. If a killer whale seems like an underwater giant to you, then how do you like these big bad boys? The weight of a killer whale can reach 4 tons, the same as a minibus, but the weight of a humpback whale is 30 tons. This is practically a living island, which sometimes goes to a huge depth, and when it rises to take a breath of atmospheric air, causes waves on which a surfer could ride. The camera captures an epic scene of the confrontation of a whole flock of killer whales with such humpback whales. It's almost like hunting a pack of wolves for a moose, with the only difference that these animals are 10 times larger. And also, these aquatic mammals have more developed communication, so they use more complex tactics. Killer whales can spend hours surrounding a family of humpback whales to separate the cub from the mother and other members of the group. Regular aggressive attacks are inflicted by predators from different sides to confuse the enemy. One blow from the powerful tail of a humpback whale is enough to crush the killer whale and cause fatal damage to it. Therefore, these intelligent carnivores constantly change the angles of attack, act aggressively, and at the same time, so smoothly, as if they had been rehearsing and practicing their techniques for hours. But to finish off the victim of this size, killer whales do not use their jaws. Even their bites could not cause fatal damage to a humpback whale or a different whale. Instead, killer whales drown the victim. They know that whales also breathe air. Therefore, killer whales block the attempts of the whale to surface for a life-saving breath. To do this, predators use ramming blows, try to hold the victim with their teeth, beat with their tails, and since killer whales themselves need air, the predators constantly are going after each other. The blue whale is the largest creature on Earth. And we're not only discussing sea animals here, but all animals in the world. And not just now, but for the entire history of man. No dinosaur has ever reached such impressive dimensions. A mass of 150 tons with a body length of more than 100 feet 30 meters is like the weight of a spacious building. A blue whale could swallow a van, and with a blow of its tail, it is able to cause a wave that could hide a small island underneath water. But killer whales attack even such giants. It's incredibly dangerous, but if a blue whale is alone, then a dozen aggressive predators like this could attack it for hours, inflict painful bites, and chase it for miles. And so who would you root for in this situation? A huge giant, or clever, cruel, but capable of effective mutual assistance of predators? Let us know in the comments. We're interested to know your opinion. By the way, it's really funny that of all land animals in the world, the closest relatives of whales and dolphins are cows. And other hoofed mammals, of course. Well, that's pretty unexpected, isn't it? Their common ancestors went into the water millions of years ago. Then, the ancestors of the hoofed animals were not such avid vegetarians. Among them were omnivorous animals and even predators. So killer whales have retained their love for a meat diet, becoming the most successful predators of the world's oceans.